Cleopatra, you are searching for me. You want to find my tomb, solve my secrets. But do you really want to find me? Because everyone who has touched me has somehow been unable to escape their fate. I will tell you about my curse, this dark story that has lasted for 2,000 years. Because what happened to those who searched for my tomb was no coincidence. They all tasted the power of my final words. When I drew my last breath, none of us knew that the words I spoke after my death would echo for centuries. In my time, tombs in Egypt were not just places where the dead rested. They were gateways between the boundary of life and death. This is why priests, pharaohs, and I whispered sacred words to protect our tombs. Curses. Have you ever thought about it? How powerful can a person's final words be? Especially if that person is the god's favored queen. If my enemy touched my tomb, they would pay with their own life. This was not just a threat. It was faith, magic, and the power of Egypt's gods. Because I knew I would be powerful even after death. Before I died, I gave my final instructions to my most trusted priest, Demetrius. Those who touch my tomb will taste my wrath. Egypt's gods will protect me. At that moment, my fate was sealed, not just with my death, but with my curse. After my death, Roman soldiers entered my palace. They would search for treasure, plunder my belongings. But they didn't know that my curse had already begun. On the first night, 3 of the 12 soldiers searching my palace mysteriously fell ill. They began writhing with high fever. Doctors couldn't find the cause. On the second night, 2 more soldiers were found dead. It was as if they had forgotten to breathe. Roman soldiers were strong, but helpless against fear. And my curse was a power that fed on fear. A week later, only 3 of the 12 soldiers who had searched my palace remained alive. The people began to whisper, "Queen Cleopatra has cast her curse." My name had thus remained more powerful than even the living. But my curse's story didn't end with Rome. Throughout the centuries, every generation that searched for me got their share. And this was not just coincidence. It was proof that my spirit was still alive. In the Middle Ages, Crusader knights visiting Alexandria dared to search for my tomb. 7 of 9 knights died from mysterious illnesses. 2 others went mad and could never speak again. In the 18th century, Napoleon's soldiers occupied Egypt. They also searched for me. The result, half of the excavation team died in a plague outbreak. Napoleon even wrote about this situation in his diary. Cleopatra's spirit does not want us. Have you ever encountered such a power? That terrible reality that science cannot explain but your heart feels. When the 19th century arrived, modern archaeology began. Scientists came with their tools, maps, and logical explanations. But my curse recognized no science either. In 1922, Howard Carter found Tutankhamun's tomb, and curse legends spread. But very few people know that the real curse is mine. Some of Carter's team later searched for my tomb too. You can guess the results. In the 20th century, submarine technology developed. Divers searched for me in the waters of Alexandria. They thought they would find my lost tomb under the ancient harbour. But what happened to them under those waters destroyed everyone's courage on the surface. 5 diving teams entered the water. Only 2 came out. Those who emerged had lost their minds. They constantly murmured my name, Cleopatra. Cleopatra, you don't want us. And right at this point, the most courageous search began. Kathleen Martinez's story. In 2004, Martinez began digging at Taposiris Magna. This woman's faith in me seemed to even surpass my curse. But what if it's not so? What if my curse is waiting for her too? I admire Martinez's courage. But even what happened in her excavations shows the power of my curse. Some of the workers disappeared in the tunnels. Some bodies were never found. Others were found dead for no reason. In 2018, one of her team's archaeologists disappeared in the middle of the night. In the morning, they found him in the depths of the tunnel. He was alive, but had lost his mind. The only thing he said was, "The Queen spoke to me." She said she didn't want me. The tunnel system found in 2022 created great excitement. More than 1,300 meters long. But the engineer who first entered that tunnel was found dead 2 days later. His heart had stopped. A healthy 35-year-old man. Could this just be coincidence? Or is it proof that my curse works even in the age of modern technology? In 2023, Martinez's team made new discoveries. Gold coins, marble fragments. Every piece pointed to them finding me. But at the same time, strange accidents in the excavation also increased. One worker fainted for no reason and was hospitalized. Another claimed that someone had pushed him, but there was no one there. Martinez tries to explain these events with scientific reasons. Air pollution, psychological pressure, group hysteria. But I know the truth is much simpler. My curse is still alive. Last year, in 2024, a young archaeologist working at the excavation site claimed to have written me a letter. They said he was crazy, but the letter said, "Dear Queen Cleopatra, we do not want to disturb you. We are just trying to find the truth. Please forgive us." When I read this letter, I saw courage that I respected even in the face of my curse. Maybe this young archaeologist was right. Maybe my curse could forgive. But then I learned that the young man who wrote the letter had died a week later. His heart stopped while he slept. 26 years old, healthy. Right at this point we face the biggest question. Is my curse real, or is it an illusion created by fear? Scientists try to explain. Group psychology, prejudice, coincidences. But the numbers speak. In the last 20 years, 47 of more than 200 people who searched for me died. But what about you? What do you feel while listening to this story? Fear or curiosity? Because maybe right now, you too have become part of my curse. In the modern world, you don't believe in curses. Science, technology, logic, they all tell you the truth. But what about that primitive fear lurking in the depths of the human heart? What if the power of the past really exists? Kathleen Martinez is still digging, still searching. She will continue working in 2026 too. This woman's courage is admirable. But does she know something? Or has she made peace with my curse? Maybe my curse only targets those who are disrespectful. But the ironic thing is this. My curse is so powerful that every story that tells it makes it grow even more. Even this video becomes part of my curse. Have you ever noticed? Did you feel a shiver inside while listening to this story? Maybe right now you've connected with my spirit. Who was among those who listened to this story? After Caesar, dozens of leaders, hundreds of soldiers, thousands of researchers, they all touched my story, and all their fates changed. Those who search for me will find me, but what they find is always the same, their own end. Now you choose. Will you continue searching, or will you bow respectfully before my curse? I am here, waiting silently for 2,000 years. And maybe by listening to this story, you too have become part of my curse. I, Cleopatra, this is my final warning to you.